first day after implantation. I have today off work. I am just doing my acupuncture and then going to relax for the rest of the day. The implantation went very well. The procedure went very well. This time it was a little bit later in the day, which made for a nice relaxing morning. It was scheduled for 12:15, so it was a little bit later in the day than last time. But we had a nice morning, so that was great. The procedure was quick. So we actually saw the embryo moving on the screen. They had nicked it, I think. So it was hatching right as we were watching it, which was very cool. And it was really a nice, special moment for me and Steven. Steven said afterwards, he's like, we're going to be able to tell our baby that we saw its first cellular movement. It's kind of cute. So yeah, so that went well, and then we went immediately to the acupuncture clinic here. My clinic, as I've said before, does not allow the acupuncturists to come in and do the before and after service that most fertility clinics do allow. So we had to just go to the clinic that's down here where we live. So now this is the day after implantation, 1 day after implantation. I don't have any symptoms to report. Nothing. So the first implantation, and it's interesting being on the second implantation to think that you know what's going to happen and have it not be at all the same as the first time. So the first time I had some slight cramping after the procedure. This time I did not have that. I did not feel any twinges or anything at all going on in my uterus during the acupuncture session afterwards. The only pain, the only symptom that I'm feeling these days is the progesterone and oil shot, specifically on my right hand side. Man, that shot has been a real doozy for that side of my body. It's been extremely painful. I also did a strength training workout a couple days before the implantation, and I'm still sore from that. So there's a lot of soreness happening in my body right now that has nothing to do with the implantation. Not directly anyway. So I don't know if that's kind of masking any slight symptoms that I might have been feeling otherwise. Because when I was feeling symptoms the first time, slight symptoms, they were very slight. I almost was like, oh, these are just in my head, kind of a feeling. But I don't even have that this time. And I know it's been less than 24 hours at this point. So let's just be very honest that it might not have even implanted yet, so, which would make sense as to why I wouldn't be feeling anything. I don't think that is atypical for these kinds of things, honestly. I feel like even women who have multiple children say every pregnancy is different, and probably every implantation is different too. I also do wonder if the fact that I did get the acupuncture treatment immediately after the implantation, or within 2 hours of it, that might have been the reason why I didn't get cramping afterwards like I did the time before. My first implantation was on a Sunday, and the acupuncture clinic was not open on Sunday, so I couldn't get my acupuncture treatment until the next day. So I was actually kind of thankful that my implantation this time was during the week, on a weekday, because that allowed me to go see my acupuncturist afterwards, getting another session in less than 24 hours later. So yeah, maybe that's the reason why it's going as smoothly as it is right now. going to give you a quick update while I'm getting some potatoes ready for dinner later this evening. Stephen and some friends are out on a boat, and I just got back from the gym. It is 2 days post-implantation. Thursday. I took Tuesday off for implantation day. Yesterday was Wednesday. And today is Thursday. I have been waiting all day basically to make this update because I really don't have anything to report, unfortunately. When people have said, left comments on people's 2-week wait videos, been like, I had no symptoms, I had no symptoms, I had no symptoms, and I've seen like maybe one. This is fruit and vegetable wash, by the way. Make sure all the pesticides are off. Doing something healthy for potatoes. Pesticides are the biggest source of toxins in our bodies, so I'm gonna make sure that that is not affecting the good and healthy food that we're eating. I thought that on those videos where people were talking about how they had 0 symptoms, didn't know they were pregnant, or thought that it had failed or something, not even videos. Most of the time they're comments, and probably because why would you make a video about having no symptoms? I thought that they meant that there were symptoms that were very light or very negligible, or like the first time that I had implantation. My symptoms were, only looking back when I really categorized the symptoms as I was going through them, I was like, well, it's kind of cramping, but it's not really big cramping. Well, I'm kind of short of breath, but not like super short of breath. Well, my breasts kind of hurt, but they don't really hurt. But looking back, all those things were actually symptoms. And after those symptoms went away, I was very aware that they had been symptoms. But I still thought that people who said that they had no symptoms had symptoms like those, where they were very light, very negligible, something that you probably wouldn't notice unless you knew that you were carrying an embryo inside of you. I did not think that there was absolutely nothing. And now I'm hoping that that's actually the case, because I am not feeling anything, like not anything at all. I've had no cramping. I have had some vivid dreams, but that started when the progesterone started, so can't really say that that's a symptom. I wake up in the middle of the night to pee, but that was also happening before the embryo transfer because I drink a lot of tea in the evening. I have not had a headache. That's another symptom that a lot of people have reported. Not had a headache. I have not felt any twinges in my uterus. And yeah, I just don't feel anything at all. I did take a nap yesterday, but progesterone can also make you tired, so that's not really a symptom. Also, I didn't have that slump in energy today. Today I woke up, gone straight through the day, and have been fine. I even just got back from the gym downstairs to see if moving my body would kind of stir up some symptoms. You know, maybe a headache or something would, come in, or maybe a little cramping from the, extra blood flow down there. No, I felt fine. Felt totally fine. I didn't push myself. They say that when you're pregnant, any cardio type exercise, which is all I did, you should be able to talk while you're doing the exercise. So, just basically don't go too intense. So I have a heart rate monitor on my nice little Apple Watch here, and I made sure that my heart rate stayed in the range that I could speak during. So, but yeah, no symptoms showed up there either. That's it. That is all I have for you today. So I will say, if I was going to be as hopeful as possible, that everything is still fine, even though I have so much less symptoms than last time, which is crazy because having a previous implantation to compare it to, especially a previous implantation that failed. I mean, I didn't even get a positive pregnancy test. It wasn't even a chemical pregnancy. I just had signs of something, and then no positive proof ever. And this time, I have even less symptoms. And I'm supposed to. I mean, I had signs right away in my last one. Like from the same day of implantation, I was getting cramps, and I just kept getting more and more signs. Scents. I thought that I could smell things better. I find that crazy. I find it crazy that I have like nothing. And I tell you, I am searching for symptoms. If I was searching for symptoms, two things. This is one of the reasons why I decided to, first of all, order Uber Eats, and second of all, go and exercise. Was because I was getting what felt like it could have been a headache. Like it wasn't a headache. I keep feeling like I'm qualifying all of these things because they're not quite anything, but it's like it's thinking about being something. So it's like I was thinking about getting a headache, it wasn't a brain fog, but it was just like a feeling of heaviness in my head, like it could be a headache. Like if you dialed up the intensity of whatever was going on in there, it could be a headache. But it was at like a 1. And on a scale of 1 to 10, it was a 1. Like 0 being no headache at all, and 1 being like the very beginnings of a headache. It was a 1. And if it had gone up to like a 2 or 3, I would have been like, oh, this is unusual for me. I don't get headaches. But it didn't. It went away like everything else has. Maybe I will be thankful for this in the future. But for right now, I am just frustrated because I am making videos about this and I have nothing to tell you. So yes, that's my update for today. I felt like I had more symptoms. Yeah, it's just weird to compare this one to the first one that failed and have less symptoms. So I guess I will, I'll have to just check back in with you guys again tomorrow. In my last video, I was talking to you about how I didn't have any symptoms. And it really made me question whether or not I should even do a 2-week wait video, because I really had no symptoms and it didn't feel appropriate to get on camera every day and say the same thing. After the last time that I did give you an update, there were 2 more days of no symptoms until yesterday. And yesterday I went to the gym again because I was like, hey, if I'm able to work out throughout this pregnancy, this fingers crossed pregnancy, then might as well keep that going as long as I can. So I went to the gym, did 20 minutes on the treadmill, just walking, and then I moved over to the rowing machine, which is kind of my routine. I'll do some time on the treadmill, and then I move over to the rowing machine because I feel like that's a full body cardio workout. And I usually do about 20 minutes on the rowing machine. About 10 minutes in to my workout on the rowing machine, I felt a significant drop in energy level, which is not typical. And I kind of was like, am I just, having to push through this? Is this just something that this is a growth area for me or something? But after 2 minutes of it consistently, like, I could even see on the rowing machine, like I was just getting slower. And I wasn't trying to get slower. I just was. It was like my body was pulling back on the energy it was giving me to work out. And after 2 minutes of that and kind of observing this, I was like, all right, you know what? My body is telling me it doesn't want to do this right now. I'm going to go ahead and stop. So I did. And then I went to the other room where you can do some like free weights, strength training, and stretches and things. I didn't really feel like I was done with my workout. So I was like, all right, we'll do some things where, you know, it's not quite as constant of motion. So I went to that room and then picked up some very light weights for me and started to work out with those. Same thing. It was like my body felt very heavy in a way that it normally doesn't. Normally when I'm done with my cardio and I go into that room, it's almost like I have a surge in energy because I've stopped doing cardio. And it usually feels really good to lift weights, but not this time. This time, it wasn't that the weights felt heavy, it was that my body felt heavy. There was like a drag on my energy and the way that I was feeling. So I stuck to the light weights, did like 3 sets with those, and at that point was pretty much like, all right, something's different. I'm gonna call that good for the day. So I went back upstairs and ended my workout. But that to me was a sign. I have heard from people who have been pregnant before that your normal workouts can all of a sudden start to feel much more difficult. And that was exactly what that was for me yesterday. It was a normal workout. There was nothing abnormal about it. There was no way it should have felt as hard as it did. I was not pushing myself, and yet I had to stop. So I felt like that was a sign, and I felt good about that. And the rest of the day I was pretty normal. Once again, back to my no signs feelings. And I even I ate a lot of food in the beginning of the day, but then by the time dinner time came around, I wasn't as hungry as I normally am. So I was like, okay, so there's, the hunger thing maybe isn't a thing. And then I went to bed, and that's when I had my second sign of the day. And that was nausea. I was laying down in bed, and now that this happened last night, I think it might have happened a couple nights ago as well, but I just thought it was something that I'd eaten or tea that I drank. But anyway, so I started experiencing nausea. And at first I thought it was just like I was in an uncomfortable position or something. I moved around for a while, and it just, when I finally actually focused on it, I was like, this is nausea. Yeah, that's what this is. And that's what it was. It was nausea. It wasn't something that came and went. It wasn't something that felt like it was in my head. I could definitely feel it. It's not here now, so you know how it's difficult to explain pain after the pain is gone. But I was trying to really take note of it yesterday so that I could describe it. But it was like a nausea, sick to my stomach type feeling. And then there were slight little butterfly-ish or anxiety type feelings as well. Those were my symptoms for yesterday. It's nice to be able to actually talk about some symptoms. I still don't know exactly what this video is going to look like. Today I have not been feeling anything out of the normal. Still feel like there's my belly is very hard. It feels like the muscles down there are being flexed, even though I have not worked them out, and I am not currently, when I'm not using them, it feels like they're flexed. So that's interesting. I noticed that actually on the last day that I updated you on. So we'll see what happens later this evening, but I just wanted to jump on here and update you as I'm going to acupuncture. I have never taken a pregnancy test that has been positive. I've never peed on a stick and had a positive result.
6 days after IVF implantation, if you are taking implantation day as day 0, otherwise it'd be 7. But see if my health app, I have no idea where in my cycle that actually is. Okay, so probably 2 days before missed period if this was a natural cycle. So it's probably, I'm probably right in the right time. This is an early results pregnancy test. And I just feel like I want to know. That's all. I have this like very hard belly, and it's definitely not getting smaller. You know, my stomach wasn't super flat to begin with, but like this is definitely not. This is definitely more harder and more poochy than it normally is. And I just want to know, like, I was looking at different pregnancy tracker apps today and thinking about, you know, which one should I, I'm just like, I just want to know, do I want to not test and continue to hope? Or do I want to test and know? And I feel like I want to test and know. And I feel like if it is negative, again, as it has always been for me whenever I've taken these tests, then I don't think I'm going to be that discouraged about it today. I mean, it's in the afternoon. This is not my first morning pee. I'm going to, you know, so I'll have some ways that I can hedge my response to it. So, so I think I'm going to test. I don't think there was enough pee. Well, that's annoying because I didn't save the pee, so now I have to do this again. It's it's faulty. That's what you get for buying cheap tests. Thanks, CVS. Thanks, CVS. Now I have to wait until I have to pee again. And I'm very unconfident this is gonna work even then. But that's that. Okay. We'll wait for round 2.